One Zambia, One Nation, and thanks for joining us on ZANIS News. To present, my name is Juliet Mtale. Top stories in the news tonight. 7 million allocated for Kafue water project. Government refutes reports on drug shortage at Chilenje Level 1 Hospital. Lusangazi district gets over 5 million kwacha emergency cash transfer. Plus, Mafinga chiefs call for investment ahead of Muchinga exposition. ZANIS News in detail. Lusaka Water and Storage Company has started rehabilitating works in Kafue district to improve water supply. About 7 million kwacha has been allocated for the water reticulation project in the district. Here are the details.
About 7 million kwacha has been allocated for the water reticulation system project in Kafue district. Lusaka Water and Sewerage Company has already procured the materials for this project and works are progressing well.
Lusaka Water is all about providing a service. Water is life. Sanitation is health. So all the issues pertaining to sanitation and water supply, we will deal with them here in Kafue. We will give the assurance to the Honorable MP and the Honorable DC that we are here to work for you. This service we are providing is for the public. So we are very happy with your welcome and your remarks about how we continue going forward. We are excited because we are able to provide what we promised.
And project manager, Engineer Wycliffe Kunda, said rehabilitation works on the system are expected to be completed by the end of next month.
We are very confident. We don't have any challenges here like rock breaking, but we just have water from the ground. This is something that is manageable.
Meanwhile, both Kafue Member of Parliament and the District Commissioner have expressed happiness with this project.
It's a good start. We have appreciated from the interaction that we had earlier that there's still need for more resource mobilization in terms of finances.
Irene Nganga for ZANIS, Kafue District.
President Hakainde Hichilema has urged the church leadership to continue strengthening family ties to ensure corruption and theft affecting the country is rooted out. President Hichilema says the church should continue praying for the country's leadership to ensure that they foster development to all Zambians. He said this when he congregated at the Seventh-day Adventist Church, SDA, in Chililabombwe on the Copper Belt province. Details in this report.
President Hakainde Hichilema, who is on the Copper Belt for a 2-day working visit, found time to congregate at the Chilawombwe Men's Seventh-day Adventist Church. Mr. Hichilema appealed to the church to continue praying for the leaders, for them to continue advocating for good morals which are beneficial in running the country. The president was accompanied by the Copper Belt Province Minister Elisha Matambo, Mines Minister Paul Kabuswe, the party's Secretary General Watuke Imenda, Copper Belt Province Permanent Secretary Augustine Kasongo, and other senior party officials also called for the church's guidance.
The message is simple. That's one side, unity, working together. The other side is very simple, just to develop this country, to work on the economy, difficult as it may be, but we'll get there. We'll get there. When the economy is working well, we can look after the youth, the young people, those outside there, give them the education. We can take care of the sick. We can take care of the old, the retired, we pay them the retirement benefits. We can provide social support, everything. The aims to a 2 key jobs. Bring the country together, 1, 2, reunite this country. So, reunite this country, then 2, develop the country. Social support.
The Seventh-day Adventist Northern Region Union President called on Zambians to never allow the wicked and corrupt people to rule again, as they lack the skills to listen to the people they lead.
Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked man rules, the people groan. Don't allow the wicked to rule again. sometimes because we are poor, we think we are done. We are not. We know how they were carrying gold from Kasamsey to some in ambulances. Yeah, we know. Ambulance will go, and if it's carrying a patient.
Earlier, the president inspected the guard of honor that the church's pathfinders mounted for him. Tovini Ngombe, ZANIS, Chirawombwe.
We now take you to Southern Province. Residents of Chona Ward in Momba constituency in Monza district have expressed gratitude to government for grading the Chona Kayola road, which was in a deplorable state. Headman Haji Zangwa says the construction of the 20-kilometer stretch will significantly facilitate transportation of farm produce to market as well as lure investors to the area. Monza Town Council Public Relations Officer Kanchele says Kanchelele says about 3 million kwacha Constituency Development Fund CDF was spent on grading and compacting the road. Details in this report.
It is a feeder road of social and economic importance to the people of Jona Chiefdom and Monze at large. For a long time, it has been in a deplorable state. Now, thanks to the increased Constituency Development Fund, CDF, the Jona Kayora Road is undergoing construction by the Zambia National Service, ZANIS, and the local community is excited about this development.
Guhulumende igututumina ibaberesi gutubambira road guno wenda nambu twakede oguno guntu twakede mbuli guti tulisoetwe tuli muhogwe bwaye jino jindi kwagabota guno guntu guti wagaliga indi andiza nga wabusangu na gusoega bya titeye inkugo guno twalombeha iguti olurusumpugo kaluji zumana na road yagakiretetwe ga indi uzwa guti yagubetinda rubandiza mu 1984 ni yagiretetwe gusigira ino mumwi imyota tiyari gujiwa hawinda magana aguhagwa road.
The road is almost coming to a completion. We are remaining with the 6 kilometers stretch to reach the point where the ZNS was contracted to do, which is the Kayola Clinic. The cry was that the road needs to be done because it is not only a road which is essential when it comes to the services and goods, but also it is the road that helps when people are sick, for example.
The face of Momba constituency is also being transformed with the construction of more school and health infrastructure.
We have 290 boys and 280 girls. We are really grateful for the progress behind here, the 1x3 classroom block. Our school has for a long time been aiming to have a secondary school to be upgraded to grade 10, 11, 12 finally, so that we can have pupils that are coming from the same area instead of going to other day secondary schools in which they are.
We are happy that for a long time we haven't had such a structure here. So this is like the first of its kind. So we are very delighted to have it. And we are appealing actually. Be happy if this kind of development can continue.
Frederick Macha for ZANIS News in Monza District, Southern Province.
In Eastern Province, Chipata District has recorded 9 deaths caused by motorcycle riders in the first quarter of this year. Eastern Province Commanding Officer Limpoli Luali says police has started engaging unlicensed riders to ensure they do not contravene traffic rules. Here are the details.
The increased use of motorcycle as a cheap mode of passenger transport in Chipata is supposed to translate into economic and environmental benefits, particularly around this time when people are more focused on financial savings. However, the increase of the motorbike passenger transport in the city of Chipata is now becoming a danger to human life due to the steady increase of road traffic accidents involving unlicensed bike riders compounded with unregistered imported motorbikes. The statistics from the divisional headquarters of the Zambia Police on the road accidents involving illegal motorbike passenger transport in Chipata is now startling.
We lost a total of 9 people. These were riders, meaning those who were actually driving or propelling the motorbike. And then further to those fatal accidents involving motorbikes, we lost 4 passengers.
The regulatory authority, the Road Transport and Safety Agency RATSA, is equally concerned at the state of affairs.
Coming in of the motorcycles, it's like we are seeing now a graduation from bicycles to motorcycles. And because of that, majority of the people that were using bicycles before are now resorting to using motorbikes. Now, because of that, majority of them, because of the information gaps and so on, some of them actually feel like they do not even need to have a driver's license, a rider's license. They feel like they don't need to register their motorcycle. But we are not just sitting idle. Some of the interventions that we are actually putting in place, we are actually visiting them in their respective ranks to ensure that we disseminate information with regard to the procedures to obtaining a driver's license, registration, and even just how to follow the rules and regulations on the road.
The commanding officer has now sounded a warning.
We have agreed during these meetings that we were going to give them a grace period in which they were supposed to go and correct whatever omissions they had. If they had no license, they should go and obtain the license. If they don't have the helmets, they should, whatever offenses which they were committing. Thereafter, we said we would start impounding them.
Reporting for ZANIS in Chipata District, I'm Lubasim Tafela.
The Provincial Health Office in Lusaka has refuted media reports suggesting that patients at Chilenge Level 1 Hospital have protested over drug shortage. Provincial Health Director Conciti Mwale says the hospital has never recorded or experienced any protest from the general public or patients concerning drug shortage as reported by a named local tabloid. Dr. Mullen notes that the health facility is equipped with a security surveillance system that is monitored by both security personnel and CCTV cameras. The provincial health director said that examination of the week's surveillance footage showed no evidence of the purported protest. Dr. Male adds that the drug availability at the hospital ranged between 70 to 75%, according to the Tracer's drug list for the month of April 2023. He said that the Zambia Medicines Medical Supplies Agency, ZAMSA, supplied the questioned drugs for diabetic patients. Dr. Male challenged the public and the media to visit the hospital to confirm the situation and get correct facts concerning drug availability at Chilenge Level 1 Hospital. He has since urged members of the public to disregard the media reports and utilize the health services as and when they require health care. Still in health news, the veterinary department in Northern Province has vaccinated over 5,000 dogs against rabies in an ongoing mass vaccination campaign in Mongwi, Senga and Kasama districts. Provincial Veterinary Officer Sydney Kalenga, who is on a monitoring program, says the mass dog vaccination exercise is being undertaken in affected areas following the outbreak in 3 districts. Here are the details.
Northern Province has commenced the mass vaccination of dogs in 3 districts, namely Senga Hill, Kasama and Mungwi, which recorded an outbreak of rabies. Over 5,000 dogs have since been vaccinated in the 3 districts. Provincial Veterinary Officer Dr. Sidney Kalenga disclosed the development when he conducted a monitoring visit of Senga Hill district to check on the vaccination exercise.
we have done quite a lot. We are almost over 5,000 of our vaccinations in the whole province. So we are just remaining in the few areas where we have to, but we still also want to extend our vaccinations even to Kaputa.
Rabies, as we all know, is a zoonotic disease, meaning it affects animals as well as people. The best way to prevent rabies is vaccination of dogs.
And the Senga Hill District Administrative Officer Tami Mambwe had this to say.
The Government of the Republic of Zambia, under the inspired leadership of His Excellency Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, attaches great importance to public health. It remains a mandate of the independent government to ensure that the health of the public is preserved and protected for the people to remain productive.
Meanwhile, Malamba Ward Councillor James Simpasa and the community are elated with the development.
We are happy as Impande dwellers that such things should be happening every time, and not only for dogs but also other animals.
Imbwa twadishibo kutila shali kwata udwele wa malebizi kasha sumo muntu isha tungwe nyereti kusanga tu muntu limbi aba affected kubudwele bwambwa. So twatotela sana.
Northern Province declared rabies outbreak in 3 districts following confirmed cases of rabies in the samples collected on jackals. Reporting for ZANIS in Senga Hill, Namsokwe Bwembia.
ZANIS News continues. The Zambia Flying Doctor Service has appreciated its members at an award-giving ceremony in Dola on the Copperbelt Province. Chief Executive Officer George Nguni has implored workers to remain professional, focused and effective in service delivery. Let's take a look.
Zambia Flying Doctor Service is determined to provide the needed health services to far-flung areas to have a healthy and productive nation. Chief Executive Officer Dr. George Nguni, in the company of Director Medical and Director Aviation Services, toured the facilities to appreciate the ongoing works.
So this aircraft has been grounded from 2017. So we are expecting now, we went to South Africa last week, we inspected the engine, the overhaul has been completed. We are expecting that next week it will be delivered. We start the fitting, and within the next 3 weeks, this will be tested and it should be flying. With this one and this one flying, then we will enhance service delivery.
These mobile clinics have a theater, laboratory, pharmacy, dental and eye clinic, x-ray, and when combined, it becomes a second-level hospital.
The other generator truck, you will see it with diesel, so that it powers. So for ourselves, what we have done is we've placed them here. We have now connected Zesco supply, 3-phase, so that we connect all of them with Zesco supply. So the cost of running them is very low. So if we acquire all of these and identify all rural provinces, rural districts per province and put them there, then when we go into these far-flung areas, we get our patients, evacuate them to that facility, we treat them and take them back. Then we enhance service delivery.
It distributes power from here into all the other fire trucks via mobile units. For example, this is for water. So this cable will come out, and this hose here at the end will connect into the mobile unit, giving them power reduced from 3-phase to single-phase. And we have all 6 compartments for each of the trucks. That's basically the upgrade.
If all the expectations are met, Zambia Flying Doctor Service is projecting to reach over 144,000 patients in the country, especially in the hard-to-reach places, this year. Mary Chola, ZANIS, Dola District, Copperbelt Province.
Meanwhile, in Central Province, Deputy Permanent Secretary Godfrey Tambada has called on foreign investors to abide by the laws of the country when handling human resource issues. This came to light when Mr. Tambala visited Grand Mart stores in Kabwe District, where reports have emerged that workers are being mistreated. Daniel Billy has more in this report.
Even as the world celebrates the Day for Safety and Health at Work, under the theme A Safety and Health Working Environment is a fundamental principle and right at work, Central Province Deputy Permanent Secretary Godfrey Stambala and Kabwe District Commissioner Lennox Chimwambwa swung into action to monitor how workers at Grandmat are being treated.
It's not enough. We wanted to import the whole thing, and you don't know. We shall not allow that. Please, let's be compliant to the law. Let's look at the labor. You are getting money, you're making money here. When? Yes. Because of the same people you're using. Yes. So they are not just people to be trampled upon the way you feel like. No. Yes.
Kabwe District Commissioner Lennox Chimwambwa wants the investor to respect the employees.
If you can't live by those rules and regulations, then that investment does not mean much to us. It will mean something if there's respect for our employees that are that are laboring. Already we are hearing that they only rest twice a month. We hear these employees of yours live in other neighborhoods, in different locations, and they speak. And for us, particularly for me as district commissioner here in the district, I will not allow that. I will not allow that. As much as I may be a customer of yours here, but when it comes to government business, I will support the workers, and we shall do that. And that's how we're going to work in the new Donga.
Provincial Labour Officer Jennifer Shamavansi explains some of the rights that workers need to enjoy.
A female employee is entitled to 1 day of absence from work each month without having to produce a medical certificate or give reasons to the employer.
Zudi Weng is the manager for Grandmat.
Today we have discussed, so I think understand. Yes. I think the 2 days, Mother's Day, just pick up 1 day from the 2 days of day. So yesterday you spent some meat. Yes. Now we understand, yes.
But that's what we told you even the other time. It's the same thing. We are repeating the same thing.
That time is very confusing. I think that you see in the Mother's Day, pick up 1 day from the 2 days off days.
No,
yes.
No, sir, please.
Sorry, yes.
We are very sorry.
Reporting for ZANIS in Kabwe, I'm Daniel Billy.
Also in the news, over 5 million kwacha disaster emergency cash transfer fund has been released to Lusangazi District through the Social Welfare Department. Lusangazi District Social Welfare Officer Riston Njovos says the families affected by drought who are on the Social Cash Transfer Program are getting 1,000 kwacha each, while those that are not on the Social Cash Transfer Program are getting 2,000 kwacha each. Here's a report.
The 2022 vulnerability assessment conducted by the government identified Lusangazi as one of the districts that was badly affected by droughts and floods, thereby posing a danger to food security amongst some families in the area. To address the situation, government has, through the Office of the Vice President, come to the aid of the affected families through the rolling out of the Emergency Cash Transfer Funds Program.
Lusangazi District received 5,190,400 kwacha to be disbursed to people who are on social cash transfer, and also those who are not but affected with the negative impact of drought.
Lusangazi District Commissioner Mike Tembo witnessed the payment process of the funds to the affected families.
The emergency cash social transfer, they've come through and people are really excited, and we are grateful to government for this gesture. Our people at least are feeling the relief, considering that they are getting something quite substantial today, like 2,000 kwacha. Already we have started making payments there. We are grateful to government for this gesture.
Lusangazi District Welfare Assistant Committee members also witnessed the payment process.
We also encourage our people to actually use the money accordingly, because the government really wants to actually help, those that are in need.
The victims who have benefited from this payout have praised government for coming to their aid.
Pakunitandiza itupini ndawana tuwana twamasiye ine
tokoze boma makamaka potikumbukirako mukase tiko na mafuta mungani yawa munga yotendeka mendo chanchani so niyamikire ngako boma potikumbukirako kuti kuthandiza mungathandizo iyi.
Naomi Mwimba for ZANIS, Lusangazi District, Eastern Province.
Chibuyunji District Commissioner Alfred Shaputo has assured the people of Kapyanga that government will continue to improve their livelihood through the alternative livelihood interventions. Mr. Shaputo says government, through the social protection program, will ensure people in rural areas benefit. He was speaking during the GOT Passing On program and the food demo, which was spearheaded by the Ministry of Community Development and Social Services.
GOT Pass On is a social protection program under the Ministry of Community Development and Social Services. It aims at empowering and improving vulnerable households in rural areas. Chibuyunji District recently witnessed the 7th Pass On in Kapyanga Sub-Center, and Chibuyunji District Commissioner Alfred Shaputo is happy that the project is still making progress.
Government intention is good. And we want you to pass on to others. We don't want each and one by keep them properly. We should be dipping them. But not one thing, they should be coming out in the morning. I know Bantu, I pongo jirali abo 1 hour. They should be eating the whole day.
The pass-on activity was also accompanied by a food demonstration where women were taught on how to improve on nutrition in their homes by the community development officers.
05 program ya continue bwanji yendelela. So bamene bapasa nyonga zikomo, bamene bapasa banzawo bajabenzo sunga nyonga zikomo mbuzi zimazisunga bwino paka mapasa banzanu lero. Bamene balandira. So ba busy bee. Nifuna in the next few months tikabochita witness again kuti mnapasa bandani banzanu waini.
Tina Kabamba reporting for ZANIS in Chibuyunji District, Central Province.
Now, Northern Province Permanent Secretary Bernard Mpundu has expressed concern with reports suggesting that some small-scale farmers in the province are selling unharvested maize fields to foreign nationals. Mr. Mpundu says the act is becoming very common, especially in the border districts where farmers sell their fields to unscrupulous businessmen. Taonga Nkoma now reports.
The trend of small-scale farmers in rural parts of the country selling their maize before harvesting is slowly growing. Foreign nationals at the center of this new development are enticing Zambian farmers to sell off their maize fields. Northern Province Permanent Secretary Bernard Mpundu disclosed to Mbala District Commissioner Anipo when he paid a courtesy call on her.
In fact, for own information, we are hearing that our people even just now, this harvest which we are starting now, some people have already sold their fields. But we must also tell them to say we must be mindful, we shouldn't sell everything because it will also affect our basket, food basket for next year.
The Permanent Secretary and the District Commissioner also addressed the public on the same concerns.
Nombo buteka bwamisa kamana bwaleta fertilizer bwaleta na nembuto yakati abantu bakwate kwefi yakudomo bakayisungira twafitisha kwa Swahili wena shifefewe na tuisa kamana shitatuisa kamene ayi fwe bakaponye nsala ni mwena yi
ntile senga imbala nsama mwe babele mu borders ekulisano uyu musango wakushitisha mabana icho shamfile po eneo naleko chieniko ya mo munashati kwenda pa butala pali anisha ya utinkalishenshi abangandandi nabana tabeshire mukulalombe chakudya.
Meanwhile, a Camp Agriculture Committee representative in Mbala has an appeal to farmers.
Icho tuledi mina amataba nipamulando kuti twafushe fyakudya muno mchalo cha Zambia. So uliyo musango abantu baleho mfokuti ati abantu balefo kulashitisha amataba ku Tanzania na kufyalo fimbi. Ifwe kunchende no twalikana. Tulefo kutungira obuteko utupera na fertilizer.
Taonga Nkoma for ZANIS in Northern Province.
Now, two traditional leaders in Mafinga district in Muchinga province have called for serious investment in the district. Chief Muyombe of the Tumbuka people and Chief Mwenichifungwe of the Mfungwe people says Mafinga district is in dire need of serious investment that will create employment for the locals and boost the economy of the district. The duo was speaking when a team of officers from the provincial administration organizing the Muchinga Investment Exposition paid a courtesy call on them.
Tuchite drive economy yesu icha tulerodesha mangozi yasi and trust iratwa pangire abengi kuma chiefdoms ekubaishireko pamano twaishire naye ayakwe batini fwe butu achita audit title yampange bali for kuchitirapo invest and then we sublease that land pakwe batenda na mutachitirepo na mchimo ireshala yesu kaifwe bakwete title fwe efyo fimo mulingire muambo kuchita facilitate muletu wafa muri yonshira pakwe bati abantu besu bamona direct benefit kuma resources yayaba chiefdom mwa
not kuibera makapabu enu mule ibombera without ikweta tuishi so tukwire tuleendela pamo kile chitika tuleendela pamo byeno lo twala abachapamo nokupanga ekintu kimu nokutwala obuyandanshi munchenge ninye supandanshi.
Finally, in the news, government has evacuated 11 Zambians from Sudan following conflicts that have engulfed the country, while 22 have been brought back to Zambia by their respective institutions. The first 3 Zambians evacuated by government arrived in the country aboard Ethiopian Airways in the early hours of today, while the 8 landed at Kenneth Kaunda International Airport at 12:30 hours. ZANIS reports that the Foreign Affairs Permanent Secretary for Administration, Hope Stumbeko, received the 8 Zambians and explained that the 11 reached out to her office for help. Ms. Stumbeko said that there were 33 Zambians who were staying in Sudan, but that government only facilitated the evacuation of 11, while the rest were evacuated by their respective institutions where they were attached. Guy Kayombwe, who has been working in Sudan for over 20 years, expressed profound happiness to the government for evacuating him and his family. Mr. Kayombwe described his stay in Sudan for the last few weeks as dangerous for his family because of the bombings that were the order of the day. Meanwhile, Wele Majid, who studied and graduated as a doctor in that country, also thanked government for responding quickly to have him and other Zambians evacuated back to Zambia. These Zambians who were living in Sudan include 8 security officers on peacemaking missions, 6 university students, and 16 employees of various international organizations, including the United Nations.
Of 33 Zambians that we identified that were in various parts of Sudan, but most of them were in Khartoum. And of those 33, 11 are the ones we were responsible for bringing back. And so those you see here are the last of the 11. 3 of them arrived today in the early hours of the morning, and the rest of the 8 have now arrived. We do have the others.
For almost 20 years, and this is my family that you see behind me, plus the rest of the Zambians. We are very grateful. From the very beginning, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has been in contact with us through the embassy in Addis Ababa, and they took account of what was happening. They had people on the ground, and here we are safely at home.
I'm very grateful to the government of Zambia for evacuating all the Zambians who reached out to the embassy.
As we end the news, we recap on the headlines. 7 million allocated for Kafue water project. Government refutes reports on drug shortage at Chilenje Level 1 Hospital. Lusangazi district gets over 5 million kwacha emergency cash transfer. Plus, Mafinga chiefs call for investment ahead of Muchinga exposition. Thank you so much for your time. My name is Juliet Ntele saying bye-bye.